Happy afternoon, guys. I am already super sweaty because we finally got our press today after waiting. So this was the point when I realized that my microphone had died. However, I did start filming and I kind of just discuss us receiving our newest Volt inside the pallets, and also kind of just show all the materials that was inside the pallets when we received it and how it looked. We do have a really pretty large bay door, so it did fit through there without any problems. We were trading out our Titan for our newest Volt, so everything is a little bit cluttered and in shambles, and you guys will kind of see that throughout the video. So again, I apologize and I hope you enjoy. What's up, guys? So I already recorded earlier, which I'm going to include some of that in the video. Just my microphone was dead, and I guess I didn't realize that it was going to be dead. But we've already transitioned our old Titan that was in this space out, and it's back in the crate. So we crated that all up. We had to use the forklift earlier. As you can see, pretty much all the components of the Titan that are left over are still down here on the ground. Aside from these newer parts. These newer parts are gonna go part of the Volt. But yeah, like, I'm really upset that it didn't record earlier, and I'm really sunburnt, so I really apologize. But basically today we are gonna talk about the crating and uncrating. So this is our old Titan that we already uncrated the Volt, which the Volt has a bigger footprint than our Titan did. So we did have to play Jenga with the crating. And they're about to unload the new quartz flash that will be identical to our Volt that we have over here. On our bigger Volt today, they're printing jackets, and the jackets are really finicky, so they are tag teaming that because they just get one pass. These are nylon reflective jackets. So, and in one of the videos earlier too, because they were manually running the press when I was out here earlier, because Maria is pretty familiar with a footprint, like a foot press. So she was just manually sending those around earlier. So today, I don't know how far he's essentially gonna get on this. This is not the final placement by any means. We just were borrowing the neighbor's forklift, and they were really busy, and I couldn't be more appreciative of them letting us borrow the forklift. So outside this other bay door is the rest of the new Volt stuff. You can just see everything's kind of dangling. It's a mess here. But outside is the other Volt pieces, and so he's starting to uncrate all of that, and Eduardo is gonna help him get the flash off, so then that way they can start getting the heads out and getting the machine set up. So yeah, so not too much. It's just mostly really stressful, because I think anytime anyone gets a new piece of equipment, it's just a lot of things going on. There's a lot of boxes. Customers are showing up when we're in the middle of the parking lot. Business as normal in most cases, so it's pretty fun. It's been exciting so far. So I'm gonna maybe do a time-lapse video of him putting the heads on. I don't know if I'll be able to let my phone sit there for that long, which I think I should. So I think that'd be pretty cool to do a little bit of that, and we'll see what else we kind of get into. So this is going pretty fast because they broke down the machine all of yesterday, and they're sending the machine back to Anatol to be refurbished. At least I think that's probably what's going to happen. So they're going to send the machine back to be refurbished, and then probably sell that to somebody else, or somebody might have already snagged it. So we will see. I got some DMs about it and told them to contact my rep at Anatol to see if they would be able to get it. So I'll jump back in here in a little bit. Alright, so we're back with a little bit of follow-up. We're shortly after lunch. We got all the new heads out of the crate. So you can see all of those. The machine is not in its final position. We just still have it stuck in here for the time being. And you can see that he's over here breaking down the crate a little bit to move the items. We have to put the old head units back into here, so he's having to cut this So he's using my tools. No, he's using his own tools. I'm not sure what quite he's doing, but he did say that he had needed to reposition this in order for these old Titan heads to fit in there. So kind of waiting in that. So he'll probably end up spending the rest of the day doing this or getting this situated. The weather is looking pretty bad out here, so we'll see. In the meantime, we have knocked out gobs of reflective jackets. And you know, I'm doing backs of baby onesies right now on our Prodigy. So these are just getting a one color imprint. This is all done on our, between our two Anatol presses we have right now. We're done on custom pallets. So you can kind of see pretty cool design. So trying to stay organized, getting things boxed up. Also, this is not Anatol related, but we had this much older dryer. This is from 1995, and it is getting rehomed to a fellow Houston screen printing company. So I'm so glad that it's going to good use, but it's pretty crazy to see it all split up and separated. This is an M&R Sprint. We're not getting another big dryer like this. We're gonna keep our littler M&R Sprint that we've been using in the meantime. Once everything kind of gets situated, this is our Prodigy that we're filming on, or not filming, I'm so sorry, that I'm printing napes and tags on. These shirts right here need tags. These I'm about to print the napes on right now. I'm basically just flashing and stacking. Since this dryer is completely out of commission at this point. So we go ahead and flash on head 2 and you know, or on unit 2, and then we just stack them up in the meantime. And so they're about to do a one color job over here on our bolts. That was a rush order for today, while the other press is completely disassembled. So some other little new things at the shop that I kind of wanted to talk about while I got y'all here. I ended up getting a much larger car lift. This will enable 2 cars to be elevated up. It goes all the way up to the top, and then I will be able to store things underneath, so like pending jobs or orders or anything like that. So that will be really cool once it's finished. We did transition, now that we're getting a different Anatol volt, which I'll talk about this again, we are transitioning both of our presses to the larger 23 by 31 racks. The screens, yes, mostly still using gobs and gobs of wood frames. So we have plenty of those, and we reorganized and recatalogued all of these. Many of them are now labeled and extremely organized and grouped together by their sizing. So like multiple jobs get the same artwork or similar artwork but different sizes. These are all just empty boxes. And we will be running this smaller power house dryer with the sleeve press, the Prodigy that we have, at some given point. So this will be getting moved. We still have our manual. It's just tucked out of the way for right now because we have so much stuff going on. And some other cool things in the shop is I will be doing like media blasting, and also be doing like sand carving and glass etching with the sandblaster. So I just recently picked that up. We have tons of stuff, and we'll be also doing laser engraving. I picked up a very carefully used Trotec laser. Literally haven't done much with anything at all because I've just been really busy, but it is gently used. I will have to probably like realign it and all that, but we'll be setting this stuff up over the next few days. So probably a few weeks. I'm gonna say a few weeks because I'm exhausted after dealing with all of this. So as already discussed and expected, the weather is turning out for the worst. So now that he's cut this down, I'm helping them move it inside. They have to move the old machine inside. Oh God, I'm hitting stuff. So they're making space for the old machine to come back inside in the meantime. So they're doing that. I'm dragging this big pieces of wood in here, our old carpet. Oh yeah, you can hear it is not happy. It just looks like one cloud. Like it doesn't even look that serious. So we'll update again in a little bit. Today we're not really making very much progress. Like it's slowly moving because it's just transitioning old stuff into new stuff. So it's a lot of like duplicating the same things over and over again. So I'm interested to see us actually get things like set up and going tomorrow. like actually installing. So now, oh no, the plant. All right, so of course, here we are, it's raining per usual. Picked up the plant, don't want him tipped over. Had to move all the wood inside so it like doesn't get all like soaking wet, which it's not even raining, it's just loud, but also per usual, we don't have any power. So, boom. I really am getting short-tempered with the weather in Houston as of lately. So yeah, we're going to get the table cleaned off so we can like work on some decals in the meantime because none of us have power and it just keeps happening. So at least we can still work because there's a lot of daylight. We just can't run any of the presses. All right guys, another day, another Anatol install video. We actually have power finally. We lost power for like 3 hours yesterday, so Gene just focused on getting all of our old equipment all crated up, and you can see that Eduardo is here helping him because the heads are pretty heavy. So, but yeah, yesterday we lost power, so this is the base of the old Titan all boxed up. I'm squeezing through here, and Gene pretty much did all of this. They finished boxing up all of the old heads, the old flashes that's going to be picked up and sent back. So I'm going to, there you go, you can see. So you can see they're going ahead and setting up the heads. We did also rotate the base already to, position the press where it needs to be. And yeah, so they're pretty much about right there, but yesterday was a mess because we had lost the power. We weren't really able to do much. The actual transformer outside was on fire. They replaced the fuse. They was making a bunch of noise. So here in a little bit, Richard and Maria are going to be tag teaming a print, a one color, it's a white imprint. So a lot of people ask us how fast we can actually print, and because we have the heads up, we're gonna have her pull or him pull and him load, or one of the other. They're gonna split it up. So we're gonna actually time to see how fast they can do 100 shirts or 200 shirts, or how many shirts they get done in an hour with 2 people. And it'll be, how are y'all printing this job? How are y'all printing it?
Print, flash, print.
Okay, so you're backstepping back, or you printed another?
We have a separate.
Okay, so this will be white ink, which we use our one-stroke ELTS on literally everything that we print here that requires white ink. So they're doing print, flash, and then they burned a separate screen to expedite this, so we don't have to step back. So it'll be print, flash, and then print over here, and then that'll be it. It's gonna come all the way around, and somebody's gonna pull. So we are really gonna time it and see how quickly they can print. And this is like a 12 by 12 area on the back, or is it a little bit smaller, about 8 inches maybe?
Yeah.
So it's not a super big surface area, but still considered a normal bigger back design, or over a normal back design. They'll also be printing pockets and left chests on these shirts as well. But we're really curious to see how fast they can actually produce stuff. And that's been a lot of questions because people who are looking to transition into from manual presses into automatic presses, if you have the hands and the ability to produce something like that quickly, I still think an automatic is going to be faster. So I will jump back in here and probably rotate the camera around at that time and start the clock and literally see how many they can do. And then we'll kind of catch back up with them and see where we're at. Because I believe you can see there's a bunch of carts. They're all separated by PO numbers, but I think, oh, there's some more behind me all over the place. But they're all separated by their corresponding PO numbers. So, yep, we'll just check back in just a few. Okay, so they have a pretty good flow going right now. So we're gonna go ahead and start the clock. It is 11:30, and where are we at? Okay, so right now they're at 238 pieces for the day. So we're starting right now at 11:30, and we're gonna see how many Maria and Richard can print in an hour. And again, this is print, it's flashing, and just print one more time, and then it's gonna go around. So y'all heard me, 238 pieces, and it's 11:30, so we're gonna come back at 12:30, and they're probably gonna pause for lunch anyways, and then we will see where they are at. So, and we'll see how quick they can get going on these. We're making good progress on the other volts, our newer, smaller volt. So all the heads are finally up, and he's doing some electrical stuff right now. So, yep, and I just finished printing some napes, and I'm just doing a flash and stack over here and then running them through the dryer. So I just have to do tags. So we're about to change the screens to these 2 tags and get these printed as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut in here a little early. They still have about 15 minutes. You can kind of see on the clock over there, it's 12, little after 12:15. So they already knocked out this whole cart and about to start on this one. And originally when we had touch base in here, it was like 2:38, and now we're at 5:22, 5:23, because she just clicked it. So they have about 15 minutes left, a little less than that, and so we will follow back up and see what they end up with at that point. Alright, so I'm in the middle of swapping out screens because I have to print tags now, and I needed to get those burned, but we are at 12:30. So we're gonna come on over here. You guys can see that it is now 12:30, like literally barely, not even quite 12:30, but 1 minute till. And they're printing right along, and so you can see that they are now at 6:01. So it has been 1 hour, print, flash print, 2 screens. It's been exactly 1 hour, and they're at 6:01, so I'm gonna have to go do some math, but it was 2:38 originally when they started today, and now they're at 6:01. So that's about, not quite 400 pieces, but about 350 pieces pretty much. It was 2:38, I think, when y'all started, so I'm on my phone, so I can't do some math, but so pretty quick. It's moving pretty fast. So they're gonna finish this run right now. They're gonna pause for lunch. We are getting the electric aspect of our press installed right now. So he has to change the base of the press to single phase. Just because our wiring here was already single phase for the base of the press, the flashes run off the 3-phase, and you can see this cord here and that cord over there were 3-phase. So our press base is single phase, so he's converting that real quick, and then we should be like connecting, so the breaker can support that. So yep, look, like within that time, you know, in auto mode, they already got everything off the press. So I will put like in the video the actual math of how many pieces they did within an hour, based again off of white ink, 1-stroke ELTS. We use print, flash, and then print. We'll kind of you can kind of see the whole stack that they've already printed. Oh, that's actually going on 2 stacks. So you can see the finished product. So now they're all gonna take lunch, and those are all those reflective jackets that we had printed yesterday, and dog. And Eduardo has been working on weeding decals. We had no power yesterday, as we mentioned, so we're doing 3 different styles of decals, and he's been weeding those. These are actually laminated and everything, so they're gonna be extremely high-end and durable. So yep, we're gonna grab lunch and we'll come back out and visit, because hopefully maybe the press will be started today. I'm not sure, maybe tomorrow. I'm thinking it'll probably be tomorrow, so. Good morning, guys. It has been, I want to say, since like the middle of July when I started the video that all of this will be put together. I initially started the video because we were getting our secondary volt, which is 100% up and running now. So you see Maria is manning the other volt that we got. I had started that video, and honestly, everything got so busy that I was never able to honestly finish it, but now we're back and I'm trying to finish it. I think I kind of left everything off to the point where we were printing tags on the Prodigy, and even since then my Prodigy actually malfunctioned. One of the servo heads had went bad, which is in here on this side, and we ended up calling on Anatol. We were able to disable the head temporarily. We were still able to print off of the head one, you know, in the time being and everything like that until we got the parts, but we've already put it back together, and I ended up finishing out all the tags and sleeves, and honestly it has just been actual chaos. So whenever we very first got our secondary volt, we ended up only having one flash originally. We just put our flash on head 2, but we very quickly realized that we really needed that secondary flash. So we ended up buying another flash. You can see it's installed, it's functioning because this was several months ago. We ended up getting a secondary flash just so we had more ability to print more multiple color designs versus running cycle mode. We really don't like running cycle mode here, and it's not because of the feature, it just takes way too much time, and because we are a mostly contract facility, you know, time is of the essence, like 100%. So it's really important that we're functioning at our best. So despite getting another volt, which has been wonderful, having it very quiet in here, and getting that secondary flash unit, we got our Prodigy back up and running. We went ahead and bought another Anatol device. So we went ahead and got a new exposure unit. We already had 2 exposure units, and both of them are a little bit older, a little bit outdated, and we really wanted to get something a lot more techy, more updated. We obviously love the Anatol brand, so we've been growing and developing with them. I wanted to film the video out here because once we get into the screen room, it's really dark. Eduardo will be helping explain the process of setting up the new exposure machine, and kind of go from there. So I really apologize if you've made it this far into the video and you're wanting to see how the exposure unit is set up, along with just like some little things going on around the shop. Even from the beginning of the video, we now have this. I did my own Photoshop and my own banner. We made this banner in-house and displayed a bunch of just fun automotive stuff up there. And we're working on painting the wall, and gonna add trim, and just we're looking to rebrand at the beginning of the year, hopefully. We've been so busy that we really haven't had the time to work on any personal projects. So again, thank you guys. I really apologize. I hope I can go back to be making more videos. I love all your guys' comments. I love the DMs. You guys have found me on my personal page as well as our business page and are always asking questions, especially a lot of the Volt guys, the Anatol people. I know that since I'm using them every day, there's been a lot more technical or intricate questions, and I greatly appreciate you guys all reaching out to me. So now we're gonna go ahead and fast forward into the Aurora LED exposure unit. All right, so as I explained, we went ahead and repurposed this very old exposure unit that we were using previously. It has been included in some of our prior videos. We did go ahead and keep it installed, so then that way we ended up just getting the tabletop Anatol Aurora LED exposure unit. There is some light, very yellow lights here, so then that way none of the screens get displaced. And Eduardo is prepping a screen right now where we are going to go ahead and set up the exposure unit, set up the time. We ended up getting a free calculator from Anthem Screen Printing. And then this is something personal Eduardo had done. If you want to go ahead and just kind of talk about why you did that.
Yeah, so what we're going to do in here, we have to burn the screen 10 different times, up to 10 different times by guessing a random number.
Exposure time.
Yeah, exposure time to get the best quality once it's exposure. So we do it 10 times by covering it. We'll exposure the first time. I'm gonna start at 5 seconds, so that'll be 5 seconds. then I'll start uncovering each one, meaning this will be 5 seconds. The second time I burn this is going to be 20 seconds.
It'll be 10. 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah, 10 seconds.
It'll be 5.
Yeah.
So the farther as you go down, these at the top will be exposed the longest, essentially, correct? Okay.
And that's going to determine what's going to keep the most detail and what's going to wash out easier as well. That's why I also did the halftone table or the numbers. That way I can know if we can hold 10% up to 75%, since that's what we use
The most. And Eduardo was also explaining to me that he likes to do this on 2 separate types of screens. So this first setup would be for 110s and 156s. And then he went ahead and actually made a separate film completely. And that will be used for 230 and higher meshes. We go all the way up to a 305 here normally. So we really have only turned on the machine, so we haven't really messed with it at all. I'll also include a little video of the emulsion that we're currently using, because we did recently change. We were using a different orange emulsion and now we are using a different one due to availability and whatnot. So he's gonna go ahead and get this turned on. I'm gonna go ahead and just record the very first or two, probably the first and second one, and then put y'all in a time lapse so you can kind of get a better idea of the whole process. And then we'll kind of talk about it a little bit afterwards and also show the emulsion that we're using.
So actually on here it's pretty cool that you can set different programs. So that's what we're doing. I'm gonna set up 2 programs for now, like Kendra mentioned, one for the lower screen meshes, 110 and 156, and a different one for 205, 200, 230, and 305. So you can go in the settings, exposure time, set up. You can cut it right there.
Few things before we actually get started on all this. We went ahead and just kind of look through the settings for us to better understand what's happening here. I went ahead and set the date, time, all that. It does offer multiple programs as he suggested. So far he's only set up program 1. He's starting the exposure time at 5 seconds, and the PSI seemed not adjustable. Whenever you go into the program, it already selects it. Oh, you click vacuum. So it just already says that the starting pressure is there. You can manually turn on the pumps and whatnot, but we haven't quite really messed with that too much. Another thing that we immediately noticed was that this is obviously brand new out of the crate. We haven't used it yet, but that this is extremely stiff, and you really don't want that to go on top of your film or majorly on top of your screen anywhere. So we kind of just have that shoved in the back for now, just to kind of get an idea of how this is really gonna work. And you guys can also see that we do run a little bit bigger frames because we run both medium volts. We actually also will be always using this size screen. And you can kind of see that the LED lights are right parallel where the screen ends. And you want to make sure that you have good coverage. So he is going to go ahead and start with the first one and go from there. So it already vacuumed, and then it turned on the time, and that was extremely fast. I didn't even feel like it was 5 seconds, but it went really fast. Whenever we received this, we did obviously put it up on this table because we disassembled that old exposure unit. You can still see a little bit of leftovers from this exposure unit. And then we ended up just installing the vacuum pump right there. So if you are thinking about getting this tabletop version, you will need to have a separate table or pallet or something over there for your vacuum pump. So he already moved the paper down. As you can see, we're going to move to the next step.
Right here is loading all the way until once it fills up. That means it's ready to start exposure on the screen. You can
tell. You can see the vacuum immediately. You can see the little strings. So then as soon as and I already did, it's 5 seconds, so he's gonna pop it open. He's gonna go ahead and slide the paper down and do the next one. So he's gonna go ahead and do the rest of those. I don't wanna sit here, but we will go ahead and go back on video when we go to do the spray out. But we're gonna go all the way down and do each one. He doesn't think he's gonna go all the way to 10, so we'll probably do until about 6 or 7, and then we'll come back and do the spray out. So while Eduardo ends up getting that set up, we are gonna just kind of show y'all the emulsion real quick. This is the one we were using. It's literally just called Orange, and it says ultra fast. It's from Ulano, and then we now have transitioned into this QXO. We actually feel like this has a longer exposure time than this orange one we were using. They both say fast or ultra fast or something along that pretext, but so far we've been using this one due to availability, and obviously it takes time to go ahead and transition a lot of the screens that you're using back into the same emulsion, so then therefore the cure time is relatively always the same. So I did want to go ahead and kind of just talk about those and show those to you guys while he is kind of going through the book and to understand all the components of the new exposure unit. So while he's actually just wrapping that up, because he's actually going to go ahead and go all the way down to 10 since it's moving very quickly, this was our other exposure unit that we were using. It is a older workhorse exposure unit, I do believe. You are able to like change. Oh, you can't even see the screen, unfortunately. Okay, well, you can change like the vacuum time, the exposure LTUs. You can save things and whatnot. Oops, I'm accidentally clicking stuff that I'm not supposed to be clicking. Oh my gosh. I messed it up. Oh my goodness. Okay. Anyways, I don't want to change anything. But this is our older exposure unit. It's the same thing. It's pretty big and bulky compared to that. Actually, both of these are extremely big and bulky compared to that. That is super small. It could fit in a very small shop or a garage or whatever, you know, environment that you're trying to work in. But this one took a pretty long time because it, as you can see, it's been used for a long time. It's pretty dirty. Also, our top had a lot of cracks in it and just repaired things over time. And this alone like took like 20 seconds just to vacuum, and the blanket wasn't even really as tight as obviously this new one is in such a short amount of period, because it vacuums pretty much like instantaneously, like within 5 seconds, and then the exposure light is turning on, whereas this took about 20 seconds just to vacuum. And then also we were doing, how long exposure time on this one?
About 20 to 30 seconds depending on the screens.
Okay, so again, depending on the screens, 20 to 30 seconds for exposure time as well, because of based off of the emulsion that we're using, and just, you know, the machine itself. So this machine as a whole just now, like vacuum and exposuring, took about 15 seconds because Eduardo just timed it on his phone. So we're all done. That went extremely fast. So now we are going to spray out this screen, which it is a 156. So it would fall under the 110 or 156 you know, set time settings that we're going to set up on program 1. So now we're going to go into the spray out room. And we're just we installed some LED lights in the back, so we're rotating that LED light just so we can see a little bit better. He's gonna go ahead and mist it, and then he's gonna spray it out. All right, so you can already see after just some of the initial spray out, you can kind of start to see where the emulsion is falling out. Also, whenever we install our emulsion, we do 2 on one side and 1 on the other side.
2 on the out.
2 on the outside. So again, you can kind of see more of it spraying out. So just to mention again, we did get this one free from Anthem Printing, or Anthem Screen Printing, I apologize. I will put the link in the YouTube video below, and then Eduardo just made that film himself. So now you're pretty much done spraying everything out.
Be good now.
So obviously the lighting in here is not exactly the best, so we always take our screens outside from here. So he's gonna probably go ahead and put that outside, make a better evaluation, and then we'll go ahead and discuss. Eduardo went ahead and started doing the secondary screen as we let that first screen sit outside, and then we want to kind of like compare and like show you guys. In the meantime, we talk about our secondary volt. This is our smaller volt. It does have 2 flashes. One of the really great things that we do love about our Anatol is that we can run it directional. So right now, I will probably pause the video and flip you all around, but right now she's doing, you know, these safety jackets, which are normally a pain in the butt. But let me pause. Normally a pain in the butt, but she's running the pallets in this direction instead of using that as head 1. This is now head 1, and then that way she's able to do a very quick print on here without, you know, the jacket shifting or moving around too much. And you can see we get thrown on the dryer. We also kind of snagged a few other random things recently that we had purchased. I got tired of like the glue like falling all the time, and so we got those little caddies. We have Richard setting up a 4-color job. I think he's having to make some more ink, so he is over there making some different ink. We ended up getting another embroidery forehead machine, which is not currently functioning. We need to perform some work on it, but that will be getting moved into our embroidery department, as this is all now embroidery stuff, and we have really grown and developed our embroidery division a lot these past couple months. So we need to get that up and running. We're just waiting for the tech. We do still have our manual press over here, which we have been using our manual press to make screen printed transfers. So we have been using this really just literally this single head and changing out the different screens and stuff for screen print transfers. We really only offer screen print transfers in 1 color. We always use usually our ELTS ink, and we get all of those supplies from One Stroke. It's actually right over here. This is the paper that we are using, and this is the powder that we are using right now. This is not forgiving, so I've already been using this for a day or 2 now. So this paper is not nearly as forgiving. It is a hot peel. I have to like stress that to a lot of people, and especially my employees. We were at one point using this smaller paper, which was much more forgiving. You could do hot or cold peel, which was better for like nylon items. So there has been a little bit of like weird transitioning period. I never really come over here and kind of like talk about this because this place is kind of like a little bit of a mess, but what screen printing shop isn't? This is our hat press. We print a lot of foam trucker hats here. This press has honestly been really, really good to us. It's very consistent and it's really easy to use. Oh, this is the older powder that we were using. We no longer use this powder either. It's just kind of like in this area. And we use this to make tags, just little one-off, like this was like some cycle bar things that I had done on some nylon bags or some laptop covers. So that's really what we mostly use our manual press for. We did rearrange our inks a couple months back. We needed to add more space over here because of just vehicles pulling through, shipping and receiving. We've transitioned a bunch of boxes and just temporary inventory up to this wall in the time being. Stage jobs, all these jobs are all ready to like be produced. This is now pretty much our receiving. Actually, let's put it from here. Back is now all of our receiving area. We do have a full-time receiving person, and Maria is now printing more jackets. So see, the perk of her running this direction is that the jacket has less of a likelihood to move, because if she was to run it on the other direction, the jacket has a pretty long time to go all the way around the press before it was getting here. So she's doing that. He's again setting this up. I don't know if I at all filmed the smaller dryer, but we have had the smaller dryer that we used with the sleeve press. Like I said, this is all developed into embroidery. I also have obtained a sandblasting cabinet for glass etching and whatnot. I have that all set up with the air compressor. Haven't really got to mess with it much because I have just been busy in all sorts of aspects. This is where most of our completed goods kind of stay. Raina is still doing our quality control. This is still a little bit of a mess because I have some stuff like just staged, trying to figure out what kind of design and stuff I want to do. I'm not going to do those banners. We're going to do some pretty cool decals instead, to tastefully go with the banner that we did. And if y'all remember from my other videos, up there just looked so ugly. It was terrible. I hated it for filming. This wall used to be teal. Same thing. I also hated it for filming. We're trying to make things just more staged. This needs to get completely gone through and find homes for. And over here is kind of like our hat press. We've been doing a lot of patches lately. Actually, oh look, there's a sample one on here. We have been doing tons of patches. We do leather patches. We do marrow like that patch. We do just woven patches, full sew. There's a lot of different things that we do. And I added all this paneling, which I think it was mostly started, you know, just to kind of make everything look a little bit better. Oh, here's from that screen that you guys just saw. This is some transfers. So these are screen printed transfers that are done, ready to go to be installed. We're installing these on some jerseys. That's actually my project for today. Over here we have reflective vinyl, which I've done a lot of videos already talking about the 3M reflective Scotchlite vinyl that we constantly are using. And I'm gonna go see if Eduardo is ready to talk about the screens. All right, so now we're outside. We've let both of the screens dry. So now we're gonna kind of look at them, evaluate them, and figure out which exposure time is probably best for us. I know you can't probably see very well. So again, let's just talk about, so this line here has been exposed the longest, then, you know, and as you trickle down into the shortest period of time right here. And then this one was the 156, right? Okay, and this screen was the 156. So let's not make it in reverse. Let's kind of go normal here. So judging on and these were each for this screen we did for 5 seconds about that. It was really loud outside, so we wanted to move inside because the concrete company was making too much noise. So this was the 156. So he is kind of like looking at it. I'm going to change to the kind of like this side, and this screen he did for 5 seconds each, all the way down. So judging on what you see here, which one do you like the best so far? He's thinking really hard, guys. He is really thinking hard.
I think number 9.
Number 9?
Between number 9 or 8, which means 10 to 15 seconds. Obviously, this is a 156, so the 10% and 20% are probably not going to hold on. It didn't hold on any of them. The dots are too small for the screen, for the mesh. So I'm not even going to worry about it. Even if we have to go that low, we'll probably use a 230, which on that, you can...
We'll talk about that one in a moment.
But you can see all the, on 30, you can see all the halftones there on number 8 and 9. If you go higher, you can still see them, but you can kind of tell that some of them are blowing out. So that means, you know,
It's overexposed.
Exposing, yeah.
It's overexposed. If it's blowing out, it's overexposed. So I do want to like stress that, because a lot of people have a lot of exposure time questions. If you're blowing through your screen, that means, or blowing through the emulsion, not the screen. Well, yeah, actually, yeah, it could be either or, but I feel like it's like particly. Like it looks a little different if you're undercured or over exposed.
That was on the table that I made, but on the table the Anthem screen printing has, it has a smaller area for the halftones, which it is good, but it's not to me it's not the greatest, because you can't really tell like precisely. But on here you can see that number 8 washed out much better than number 9 on the gradient. So I think I am gonna go with number 8, which is 15 seconds.
Okay.
And that's where we're gonna set it up to.
Perfect. And that, again, that was for the 156 mesh. So 110 and 156 we're gonna do for 15 seconds. 15 seconds. So now this is the higher mesh. This is a 230 or a 305? 230. Okay. So he ended up doing a 230, and we did something a little different on this one. We did each one for just 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So this one, instead of doing 5 all the way down, he only did it in increments of 3. So again, this is gonna be the least exposed time to the most exposed time. So judging by this screen, what do you think is also the best on here?
Surprisingly, like the very one that got the least amount of exposing is pretty good.
Pretty crisp. I wish my video let me see if I can go from, can you hold it in this direction? So he's saying that literally this one, why is it keeps coming out of focus? It's really hard to see, yeah. So this one, the very, very bottom one, which is now just being like washed out by this light, it's terrible, actually ended up being the best. I don't know why, what happened, everything was good. There it goes. So this one that's here at the bottom, which was only 3 seconds, he actually thinks that this one is so far the best. So far. We can also look over here into the Anthem screen printing, you know, gradient, and you can see it's really, honestly, very crisp. I mean, even the 6-second one is really crisp as well. So I think he'll probably set up program 2 for 6 seconds, you know, just so then that way if there is any discrepancies in the emulsion process or anything like that, we do have that 6 seconds on there. Now, to answer everyone's questions, could you get away with the 3 seconds? Absolutely, because yes, it is really really detailed. The gradients are good, but I think yeah. I mean, it almost looks no different. I mean, through the camera even.
Safe to do 6 seconds, honestly.
Okay, so
6 seconds is so quick that I feel like it might not be enough time.
Yeah.
So I just don't want to like
rush it,
and yeah.
And obviously wasted materials, not really so much wasted time, because we are reducing the amount of exposure time. But if we're having to reburn screens multiple times, that takes time, materials, resources, and we don't want to do that. So to probably very quickly wrap up this video, he is going to go ahead and set up the second program for this screen here. We already have the program saved for this one, and we can keep it saved, and so every time they go to burn the screens on the actual exposure unit, it will all be all set and good to go. Anything else?
Okay, so just because we did 6 seconds, it doesn't mean everyone's time is going to be the same. So you have to go through this whole process to figure out what your times are going to be. You know, it has a lot to do with how many codes you do on the screen, what type of emulsion you're using, and so on.
Yep.
So I would just like try to go on the Anthem website, download their sheet, and go off of that.
Do your own testing, because yeah, everyone also is dealing with different levels of humidity. As you always know, we are in a very open shop. We're battling with humidity all the time, so things are a little different for us, or it could be different for your shop. But so far, that's what we're happy with and what we're gonna probably transition and work with, and we're really excited to be using our new exposure unit going forward. So it's really good that we have both, you know, in case there's ever an influx where we need to burn a lot of screens, or if we have a backup. So to me, this was really worth the value, and I'm excited to have more Anatol products. I'll actually also show this little print that Richard is doing right now. It's like an off the neck print. pretty cool design. And these are very finicky tri-blend shirts, which is why the blue screen is sticking right now, because we don't want to run into a problem of the shirt burning, because the tri-blend shirts have been extremely sensitive lately. And you can also hear that it's just got a little bit of glue where it's going over the screen right there. But you can see that the flash time is extremely low. And that's just to ensure that there's no burning, because you can also see that the collar is pulling up just a smidge. So that's pretty neat. We like doing fun stuff like this that's a little bit more abnormal. So thanks again, everybody, for always watching our videos. I'm really sorry that this took like 6 months to do. I'm really looking forward to, again, doing some more videos, and I love y'all's feedback and questions. Always feel free to contact me. So thank y'all.